What's up, everybody? Jack here, and this is another episode of Work Smart, Not Hard Live. This is a weekly mastermind group. I'm here with Rita and Ray. It's good to have you guys both here. And before we get too much into the meeting, just so you guys who are watching this video not live, I'm going to go directly into the course review. So I'm going to start every one of these now with a quick review of a course that I took and what I learned from it, so that you guys can also learn the things that I learned. This course was by someone who works at Trello. You can see that it was by Brian Servino, who is the product marketing manager at Trello. And you don't really need to know too much about Trello, but basically this was a productivity and organization course, okay? And I'm going to share with you my one big takeaway from this course, and that was that they specifically said you should only have 5 things that you're trying to do. And of those 5 things, 2 of those things are things that other people think you're gonna do, but you're actually not gonna finish. Which I thought was amazing. I was like, wait, so that means the 3 number. I love the 3 number. And it's the 3 number again. They were essentially like, yeah, so at the end of the day, out of these 5 things that you should know, these 5 expectations of yourself and others, 2 of them won't happen, and you know that, but you just feel like you should do them because someone else wants you to. And the other 3 are the things that you should focus on. And they were so persistent with this that he used the example of opening a business, right? Or starting a coffee shop and how to go about that. And it had like 21 tasks. And he was like, look, that's too many tasks for one person. It's not going to happen. So what I need to do is find 4 people and delegate all 5 tasks at the most to each of those 4 people based on likeliness of task. And then by the end of it, each person had a really easy to conceptualize. You could look as an outsider, you could look at this business plan and see just that one person's tasks, and it would make sense, and you'd be like, yeah, I could understand how you could go about doing that. Whereas in the beginning, when you looked at the whole thing, you were like, you want to form a whole business? Like, that's a lot of steps. How do you go, like, all these questions and confusions and procrastinations come up. But they really, really emphasize just having 5 things that are important, but then even limiting that list down. So you shouldn't just think of 3 things, because they were saying that basically people's expectations are so relevant to you that you need to anticipate when people are expecting things of you that isn't going to happen yet. Maybe that's going to happen next week after you finish these other things you're prioritizing right now. But their argument was that you need to focus on just a couple things, because if you have a list of tons and tons of things, then you're not going to be as effective at accomplishing it. You kind of need to be able at any given moment to know in your head what everything in the list is without looking at it. So once it's like more than 5 things, that's genuinely hard to do, right? And I personally struggle with keeping more than 3 things in memory. I can remember what I'm doing right now. Like right now, I'm speaking to you guys. I'm doing this live stream. And then after this, I need to work on a website. I don't want to clean. That's as far as my brain can actually go. I could act like I can remember more than that, but as soon as someone starts talking to me, or I do something else, or I get distracted, I'm not going to remember all that extra information. So it really helps to kind of accept that you're dumb and you're going to forget things, and that's okay. And I really actually valued this course a lot more than I thought I would. A lot of productivity courses I don't really like a whole lot. They've honestly gotten better, because a lot of the ones I'm looking at are so realistic. Like, one of the other things this guy talked about was like, you shouldn't be hard on yourself. He was literally saying, look, like, if you are failing to do the things that you say you're going to do, it's probably because you're being too hard on yourself and you're not giving yourself enough time. And he literally said, sometimes it takes 2 hours to do something that takes you an hour, because you have to have that 30 minutes of dicking around and doing other stuff to be able to then work properly. And you can't act like that 30 minutes isn't important, that it doesn't matter. Even though you are procrastinating, if that does get it out of your system and you then follow through and do something, you need to anticipate that and have that be part of your plan. Plan to spend an hour thinking about the thing but not doing it before you do it. Because anytime you plan to do something, then you're going to be more likely to do it and more likely to get it done. So it's really important to activate these parts of your brain without beating yourself up. And those are the main takeaways from the course. So now we can get to the meeting. What's up, guys? How you doing, Bray? How you doing, Rita?
Doing great, doing great. I like that, man. I really like that. I missed out on the weekly course. I didn't even see that in the Discord chat. Should have checked it out. God dang it.
I actually did part of it. I listened to part of it. I listened a couple times to part of it, and then I fell asleep both times. Um, but I got a similar thing out of it that you did, Jack. Is be not being so hard on yourself. Like if we all have this problem, then there's a reason,
Yeah.
kind of thing, and just be realistic about it. And so, it makes me want to look back at my big list that I put on the whiteboard, and like all these, you know, dozens of things or whatever, okay, like I'm not going to be able to do all these things all the time, but I like having them written down. So if I
Yeah.
want to do them, it gets it out of my head. So I don't worry about forgetting it. It's there. If I want to do it, I still can. But but I mean, it really, at the end of the day, the things that are happening right now, there are only about three things. I'm doing a little eBay. I'm doing a little day trading. What's the other thing? And I'm doing a little cleaning. And that really is literally what really is happening. I'm only doing about three things every day. And, I still could do these other things at some point, but, something else probably would have to go away for that to happen because there's only so much bandwidth that you have. So
Yeah,
does that,
absolutely.
I mean, that's kind of what I got out of it.
I've heard that there are some people in the world who don't work like that. They are able to just have a really long list and one by one just check it off and have super good diligence about doing that. I personally don't know anyone like that, but I'm sure it does exist. That being said, I'm exactly the same way as what you're talking about. Like I manage getting stuff done by just thinking of two or three things. And really, even for a day, there's just one focus. There's one thing that if I don't do it, I'm gonna feel bad and guilty, and ashamed, no matter what, even if I do everything else in the world. And it's dumb because I should just do the one thing that's gonna make me feel better, right?
Is it usually the same thing?
No, it changes.
Oh,
It really
okay.
depends. Like, right now, it's usually whatever I tell, because I kind of fused Chris's, because I participate in Chris's goal and have a weekly thing there, but also in this one. And honestly, I got super stressed just because the way I was participating meant that I had 4 days after I said my goal to reflect on it. Because Chris does Monday and Friday, and I don't like that at all. I like just having one day, and then the next time I talk is 7 days later. So I'm like dealing with that. But I guess I can quickly summarize what my week was like, and then we can get to see how you guys are going. I want to try and be a bit more rigid with the beginning format of these calls, so we can quickly cover the course thing, and we can share our what's going on. And then for the later part of the call, we can be more fluid and kind of talk about whatever, right? But it's gonna make it a bit easier for people who are new to it to kind of join and get a sense for it. If we have more of the structured call part of in the beginning, this is going to be a little bit better. This is just things I'm thinking about after reviewing some stuff and moving forward, right? So my goals for the week were to have 2 ad campaigns running for Trabajo Sabio. And I did not do that. I have tried to record them over and over again. And I do have a running website. Like, if you go to trabajosabio.com, it actually is a website. It's nowhere. It is super basic. All I did was just fill it with some basic information in Spanish about earning money online. There's a button that says contact that literally doesn't work because I couldn't figure out how to add functionality to the buttons in WordPress. Basically, there were a bunch of things I thought would just take like 5 minutes or less, and they essentially don't. Like, I see now that there's 2 things I have to figure out. I have to figure out how to add button functionality and like the ability to contact me and put that into the link, because it doesn't appear to be available in the just like you can add a button and you can change what that button looks like. It appears that in WordPress you need to look from some different viewer or use a different program or app to actually add programming to that button. So I haven't. There were a couple things like that caused me to not be able to actually get the website to be up and running. Because what I wanted was to have the website running, able to get email addresses, and to have a campaign running. And I am now way closer to that because I have recorded. One of the things that was holding me up was I didn't feel really good about using this same format for my ads where I just have a webcam and other things. So I had to like get a recording format that I felt more comfortable with. So what I ended up doing is recording through my iPhone at the same time as me making one of this style kind of videos with this microphone. Because I want to use this microphone because it's much better at like getting rid of background noise. And I can record with this in a quiet room and you can only hear my voice. And that's what I want. So I figured out that, and I recorded a bunch of videos and got to the point where now I almost have the script memorized in Spanish, which is good. And I figured out how to hold the documentation, so I'm reading, but it's not super obvious that I'm reading from a script. You can kind of see that my eyes are moving back and forth, but a lot of these people, they're going to be seeing this ad just on their phone for like 2 seconds before or 5 seconds before they skip it. And really the goal is loud, clear, coherent audio. The video isn't super, super important. So I got the website up. There was also problems with that. Like, I got to a point where the website was up, and as far as I understood, it should be accessible, but whenever I tried to go to the website from a computer, it would say it doesn't exist. And then it turns out that there's actually like 3 or 4 other settings in WordPress that you need to enable before your WordPress website is actually going to show up properly to the public. But I did get through all of that, and now you can just go to trabajosabio.com. And it's a real website. It exists. It's visible. And for me, that's big because now I can just go there and see what I need to improve. Like, for example, right now, there's like a navigation bar that says home, blog, about, and contact. And I don't have any of those web pages. Literally right now, it's a home page that says Nicaragua is the best country to earn money online. And this is how you access your money when you earn it online. And here are some ways that you can earn money online. YouTube's awesome. And that's it. It doesn't have anything else. I need to upload videos to this website. I need to add the ability to sign up for an email list. And that goes back to a whole other thing I didn't realize. I thought I could just enable it and add a button to my website, and then I would have an email list thing. I actually have to email list is a whole separate account using something called MailChimp, or at least that's what I'm going to use. And then you use MailChimp to automate and regulate and deal with the email list. And then you use the WordPress website to be the portal that grows the email list, but you actually should use another platform to kind of host your email list as well. So this is a whole other thing that I need to learn about, and we learned about the past. This is actually a course that we studied a bit, but I'd kind of forgotten about that. So there ended up being a lot of other things that I didn't realize I needed to do before I could accomplish the things that I said I would accomplish. So it's funny because I feel a bit bad, but at the same time, I made some real great steps, and I did a lot of work on this website. And like anytime I'm watching the news and seeing stuff about COVID or coronavirus or other stuff, like I feel this responsibility in me to share this information and to work on this. And like there's so many times where I haven't even been trying to work. I've just been like bored and I don't want to play games or I don't want to clean or whatever. Well, usually because there's other people cleaning. The community here has been super awesome recently. But been great. I've been able to work like really diligently, and I didn't do the specific things that I said I would accomplish, but I did do a ton of other stuff. I also made another dropshipping video, and that video is currently my most viewed YouTube video by far by period of time. It has a really high average view duration, and it's also something that leads to my course getting more sales. And my dropshipping course like tanked a lot when this COVID stuff originally started. So that was like just something that just kind of happened as well. And then there was also some other stuff that like really moved my life forward, but it's tricky because there's always more I can do. But the Spanish content website, this really is the thing that I do that makes me feel collected, calm, and coherent. So I'm actually going to use a pretty similar goal now, but now I understand exactly what the goal is. And this is going to be that by next Sunday, when we next talk, there are going to be 3 ads running. And I've already written the ads. I can actually show the scripts for them real quick. So the first ad is all about accessing finances from Nicaragua, like how to open a U.S. bank, what services to use to accomplish that, why that's relevant, and how to get the money from PayPal that you earn online into your actual hands in Nicaragua without U.S. citizenship. And then the second ad is all about YouTube and emphasizing that you don't have to earn money from having a monetized YouTube channel, because a lot of people in Nicaragua and these other countries, they can't easily monetize their YouTube channel like we can in the US. They don't necessarily have the option of earning ad revenue from YouTube. So to them, they think that YouTube's not an opportunity. But the reality is that if you have your own digital product, your own website, your own membership product, whatever, then that is the most profitable thing you can do for your YouTube channel. And that doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter if you're based in Nicaragua or Thailand or England or the US. That is profitable and viable, a good strategy to use no matter where you are. So it's something that I really try and encourage people to do. The second ad is just specifically about that. And then the third ad is about virtual assistants, and it's kind of targeting people here in Nicaragua who work for English call centers. Essentially, there's a bunch of people here who work for call centers, and what businesses do is they'll come here and they'll set up an English training program and hire a bunch of people and pay them better than other jobs that are available, but they're not getting a fair amount of pay really compared to the call centers pocketing most of that profit. Absolutely. So essentially this ad just shows, hey, you don't have to work for these call centers. You're thinking that they are finding the clients for you, but you can just find your own clients, and here's how you do it. And then it shows different websites that you can use to find your own work and clients. Essentially, anyone in Nicaragua has a hugely competitive scenario if they're trying to become a virtual assistant, because they live in one of the countries with the cheapest cost of living. So they could charge people between $3 and $5 an hour and be competitive in the virtual assistant scene, and that actually be enough money to make a difference in their life. Especially with the flexibility, it's another really good option for people interested in earning money online. So I've done all the script for these and the translations. I've had some of my local friends review everything and make sure it's easy to understand. And this has also had some amazing effects on just like, because the people who review it and talk about it, they get like excited afterwards. And I can tell it's like, he feels like this is cool and useful. That's good. That's a good sign, especially because some of these people have a lot of like distrust. They have a lot of the same mentality that a lot of people here in Nicaragua have, this kind of frustration with authority, frustration towards the system, society, and that kind of thing. So it's super, super interesting seeing how they react to this information and involving them in making a product specifically for other people like them. It's really fulfilling, and it's work that I do, and I love. It gets rid of my anxieties. I feel great, and I feel like I'm moving things forward. So, sorry, that was a really long rant. I apologize. Those will be my goal for the next week, is to have these 3 ad campaigns running. And I know now that I can't just press F10, record a video, and have it be done. I have to record with my phone and with the microphone, and then I attach the files, and then also I cover what's happening with various images. For example, in my advertisements, I talk about the websites and services Stripe Atlas and Payoneer. So I would just have an image of the website so they see, okay, this is what the website looks like in Spanish. This is it. So that when they see it, it's not completely new to them, that kind of stuff. I basically have to edit these ads so that they're kind of specific. But I know what I need to do now, whereas before I just thought I would just press F10 and record, and that's why I was confident I could put it out. So I will have those 3 ads running. Website's already up. I just need to add functionality to it. So I'm going to need to take some information about MailChimp and set that up. And that's what I'm going to do.
Wow, man. That's great. That is great, man. You getting the ball rolling. All right. We're ready for this all Spanish website.
I'm excited, man. And all these things we've learned, all these courses, it's all relevant information. I find myself
It's
now.
been adding up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool, man. Heck yeah. All right.
And Duncan asked if I remembered weekly pizza, and I did actually. I did have pizza the day of our last call, and then had pizza 3 days ago.
I had pizza did too. I don't remember what day it was, but I did. Yeah. And it was my doing. I made it happen in my house. Like my roommate wanted to cook, and I'm like, let's have pizza.
What kind of pizza?
And he's like, okay. Like what brand? I can't even remember what brand it was. Just people that would take cash. Yeah, like this one company I called, they wouldn't even take cash, but we won't get into that negativity. But yeah, there's people who would take cash. I would pick it up, and it was good. Let's see, he had pepperoni, he had sausage on his half, and I had, I don't know, ham or something. I don't know, it was good. It's good stuff. I'm going to pick up the dogs now, so I'll let Bray go next.
Sounds good. What's been going on, Bray?
Good. Man, I just been traveling, man. Came from California. I left there last week, Wednesday, and then I got here. No, I left there 2 weeks ago, Wednesday, and then I got here last week, Monday night. So I'm over here in Florida, and they put the order out for shelter to home for the whole state. Not that bad. It's just, you know, practicing the rules of social distancing. Make sure you got hand sanitizer all with, always with you. Don't be with groups and stuff. And it's not, nothing too crazy about it. Just gotta keep doing what I've been doing pretty much and stuff. And just wait this bad tide to get over with, pretty much.
What's it like with the day trading?
Day trading's all right. I had like my best week 2 weeks ago, and that was really good. I was actually up $400. Then I had a bad day Friday, and I lost about $200 of that. So, but it's been really active with all this volatility and stuff.
Yeah, makes
Us
sense.
type of traders, we just
So volatility is good for day trading.
yes. For people who like to buy and hold, though, it's driving them crazy. At any time their prices could drop in the middle of the night. So that's driving them crazy.
Yeah, it makes sense. A lot of drop shippers I know are got banned recently. Like a lot.
A lot of what got banned?
Drop shippers.
Dang. So they just like eBay's making rounds or something? What's going
No,
on?
I don't believe anymore that eBay is trying, like, actually makes any efforts to identify drop shippers, really. In these cases, like, there was a lot of stock issues, and stock issues are what drop shippers struggle with the most already. So anytime there's a huge influx of sales and stock problems, drop shipping accounts are the ones that are most likely to sell stuff that they're not able to ship, and then those bad metrics rack up really, really quickly. So in both of the accounts that I'm aware of that were drop shipping and got banned after this, essentially what happened is that they had an average of maybe like 10 to 30 or 40 orders a day. And then after all this COVID stuff really started and people were really isolated and freaking out about health equipment and stuff, people were getting between like 50 and 150 orders per day and maybe not able to source like a third of them. So like the amount of orders you couldn't source was equal to the amount of orders you would normally get in a day, right? And so it was really interesting because it showed that when this is happening, essentially, if you are drop shipping, you should be aware that there's times where in order to survive, you have to turn your store off and wait for the volatility to end. And like it's completely possible to like just buy a stealth account or something and operate in that stealth account for that period of time, and then just switch back to your main account that you actually care about once things have calmed down. This experience has really taught me that that's something that you need to do if you want to have that like stability and stuff. And this is something like I'm not making my own accounts, but for my consulting clients, some things have become more obvious now.
Wow. Okay. So just going through the motions. Now you got this experience on your belt, and you're like, hey, don't worry, guys. This is what you need to do.
That was banned before. It's fine.
Right. Right. Okay.
How did the things go with the log? You said you wanted to log each day.
Yeah, it's doing good. So I put the logs in on my Google Calendar on my phone, and I set a alarm for every hour on my timer to remind me. And yeah, it's going good. It's not the type of tracking that I would want, being at this moment. It's not like my regular routine because I really want
Yeah.
to see.
It's hard to do anything right now.
Yeah, anything like a routine,
Yeah.
So, but it's fun. It's cool. It's kind of cool. I really want to get in the habit of at least tracking, at least at the end of the day, write down what I did for the day. Am I going towards my goals? Am I, you know, up leveling myself and constantly working towards my goals, pretty much.
Do you recognize the phrase ultranian rhythm? I think it's ultranian. There's
No,
circadian rhythm. You know that one, yeah?
uh-uh.
Oh,
What's that?
okay. Circadian rhythm it's like your body's sleep cycle, basically. So someone's circadian rhythm may make them sleepy at different times than another person's circadian rhythm. But your
Okay.
circadian rhythm is the times at which you get sleepy, right? So there's the inverse of that. There's also times at which your body is most likely to be awake and effective. And that's something this course actually talked about. And it was cool because they weren't like, oh, just pick this day. They were like, look, everyone's different. You may want to be a morning person, but then you might just not. And you have to figure that out. And this is how you figure it out. You do a log for 3 weeks, they said. I don't know why 3 weeks, not 30 days or some even number, 3 weeks. And you just, in 3 weeks, I think they said each 3-hour period, you rank your feelings on your productivity and how alert you feel and how able, like, basically what you're trying to do is, you know how sometimes before you felt excited about something, but in the moment when you think about it, you're like, oh, that feels hard, or you don't want to do it, or you don't feel that same excitement.
Yeah, trying to build up that energy to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, what they're trying to do is for 3 weeks you track that and you just notice what times of day and days of the week you're more likely to be in that first scenario where you're getting excited about stuff. Because apparently there's normally a 24-hour cycle for it, just like there is for your sleep. And if you track it for 3 weeks, you're supposed to be able to tell where it is. And sometimes it might be like, okay, it's in the afternoon, but not 2 days in a row. Like that's what these kind of patterns kind of look like. Whereas your circadian rhythm is like pretty much every 24 hours, or maybe you have like a 48-hour situation. That's possible as well. But you can't really get into that unless you have a lot of freedom in your life and that kind of thing usually. Um,
Mm,
Whereas for your ultranium, or I'm not sure, ultranian rhythm, I'm butchering it. That might not be what it is. But for that one, it's specifically when you're at your most productive. And so for some people, that's not going to be every day. Like for me, for example, I have like a day of productivity where I feel really energetic and I can't, well, it's really hard to eat. And then I have a day where I just rest and I feel lazy. Typically, I tend to work like that. I'll get a lot done and then I'll just kind of focus on relaxing. So I don't necessarily have a 24-hour cycle in that way. Maybe I have a 48-hour cycle. I'm not necessarily productive every afternoon. But if I spend a day resting and then I sleep well and then I go to bed early and then I wake up and focus on cleaning, I'm really productive in that afternoon. And I know that about myself, so I'm able to kind of think like, okay, that's when I should do the more challenging things and the more mundane, monotonous things where I've already used up the creative energy, then I can do the other things. That's something I feel good about last week. With the Spanish content website, because I got a lot of the creativity stuff done. So now I know what I need to do, and it's not like a creative thing. Like, okay, I need to go to MailChimp.com, set up an account, and link it to my website, and then make sure that works. Like, okay, that's not creative. I don't need to think about that. I don't need to figure it out. I don't need to think about what service. I already addressed all that. So that really helped.
okay. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check out that course, man. Dang, I missed out on that one. Ugh. But hey, that's why Skillshare is there. You can check it out anytime.
Yeah. Yeah, and I have to start paying for Skillshare now. The
Oh,
account has 31 months of Skillshare like approved referrals, but it looks like they just locked referrals on this account. I don't really understand. Um,
They don't like you, Jack.
Now, I mean, they have reason not to like me at this point. I haven't been polite to Skillshare.
That's true. That's true. Well, they started it.
Oh man.
It doesn't matter that they started it, you know. It's okay. I'm not worried about it. I don't mind paying them. I just prefer not to. It is a really great service for students. Really great.
Yeah, yeah. I'm really proud of Udemy and Skillshare. I mean, they're doing their thing. I don't know about 360 learning and all that, but
Then how have your courses been doing on both the platforms?
they're doing all right. Your audio is a little low, Rita. It keeps getting lower and lower.
Yeah, it suddenly got
I'm
low.
out of the car now. Is this better? I'm talking right into the phone now.
There we go. There we go. I can hear
Oh,
you.
good. So you're getting a little bit of money coming in from those courses?
Yeah, my Skillshare is on the biggest month right now since Jack shouted it out. I had a big explosion when Jack shouted it out, and now it's back up to that point, and people are just like flowing in and stuff. So I need to really make sure like they're actually learning something and stuff, and maybe try to get them into the Discord chat and stuff.
Yes. Yeah, get some more people trading with us in the morning.
Yeah.
That's super fun.
There we go. It is.
Fun.
Learning every day. That's what we do.
Yep. It's good stuff.
That'd be something that'd be cool to do. When you're doing a trade, does doing the trade reveal any kind of personal information?
Over like a course of multiple trades, and you're actually like trying to follow a simple plan, you really like learn yourself. Like some people can like latch onto this and kind of take off like right from the get, and it's because they are like disciplined and they think about risk in a whole different way. It's really crazy. So you really learn about yourself, like, hey, maybe I'm not the most disciplined person, and I really have to think back my thinking and see what's blocking me
Maybe
from
you're not being the most disciplined person at the moment.
exactly and I need to figure that out. It's like slow it down here, buddy. Why are you making mistakes? Just slow it down. But it really comes from the fear of missing out too, fear of not getting into that trade and making that move too. So it really just comes with experience too. But it's really, stock trading is a personality game. It really is. 90%.
Yeah, because it's. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
So it's kind of like I don't know. This is sort of what I'm seeing, or like you sort of like you got this one stock and it looks like it might go in the direction you need it to so that you can make a good trade, but then you over here looking at a different stock and you can miss the first one. Is that sort of what happens sometimes? Or
sometimes, yeah. And then you're kind of second guessing yourself too, getting into the trade. You're like, is this actually the low point right here? And then you got those losses in your back of your head. You're like, I don't want to get in and get hit with a loss, but that's just part of the game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very interesting. I'm still learning a lot. Jack, Bray and I are supposed to do a call after this. We're going to do some more teaching. He's going to teach me some more things, and hopefully, going to make a YouTube video so
nice
the audience can see it. Yeah, it's great.
Yes, excelente.
Yeah, why not?
I think making YouTube videos changes everyone's life.
And Jack probably doesn't know this, that you can join these trading groups on Facebook where these guys, you have to pay money, some $50 to $300 or maybe more, where these guys will call out the stocks that they have these things called scanners where I don't even know anything about it yet, but they look for the stocks that are probably going to do something that day, maybe.
Yeah.
And they call them out, and so they're pros. So it's better than trying to find it on your own when you're
new. It's like a cryptocurrency channel. They do that too.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And so Bray's on one of those, and he helped. He passes some of the information on to us on his Discord, and it's pretty interesting though. I mean, like another way to make a living. If you get good at stock trading or day trading, you can do something like that. That may be Bray in a couple of years, $300 a month to be on Bray's Facebook channel. That'd be something.
Oh man, I'm trying. I'm trying.
All in
Yeah,
good
it takes
time.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah,
about your cannabis book?
Oh yeah, I have like ever since I got it made, I just haven't been thinking about it. Plus, getting ready to move and stuff,
Yeah.
come over here. I just haven't been thinking about it.
You
Is it
accomplished the
published, or-
actionable part, though.
Yeah, yeah. I
So
don't have
is
it
it published?
posted. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
okay.
it's done, but I don't have it posted anywhere or anything.
Oh, okay. Because I bet that's going to be popular once you
Oh,
get
so
that
it's
thing
not
out.
on Amazon.
No, it's nowhere yet.
You still have to do the formatting and all that.
Yeah, and I really was just gonna use it to catch your emails. So I was gonna put it on one of my videos and have a
Do it for free.
yeah,
Use it as a freebie.
yeah.
Yeah, that could work. Yeah. So, and you would use them to you'd collect the emails, and then what would do you have an end game on that? What you would do with the emails? What you try to sell them, or?
Yeah, well, eventually I'm going to be starting a cannabis restaurant, and I'm
Oh
going to
yeah.
start a whole YouTube channel and branding around that. So if I got these thousands of emails ready to go, I could just keep
Yeah.
sending them stuff.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah,
Yes.
great. Good plan.
Great way to take off early.
Good plan.
But all starts with the stock trading, man. Stock trading is going to lead me to have that potential to be able to open that restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Building block.
Yeah, but those people that know how to day trade now, that are good at it, man, they're pretty bulletproof right now. They don't have to leave the house.
Yeah.
They don't have to leave the
Yes.
house, and they can make money, and they don't have to, they social distance or whatever, and no problem. I was kind of wishing I'd started it a couple years ago, but oh well.
Hey, better late than never. Better late than
That's
never.
right. That's right.
How's it
Set
going
up.
over there, Jack?
Uh,
I heard.
It's like half a thing here, half not a thing. There's like 5 cases or something like that. People in the streets are different. There's a bit less people in the streets, but it's not like in the US where everything's shut down. Here, a lot of businesses are shut down, but it's completely of the business owner's choice, not because of any kind of recommendation from the government or anything. Like there's some in the city you see masks, but if you go out into the rural areas in Nicaragua, there's not really as much. You're not as likely to see people wearing masks and that kind of thing. There's a lot of debate about, like, I know plenty of people who think it'll be worse here once it hits. Other people think that because of the circumstances of Nicaragua that it's probably going to be less affected by other places. It's hard to say, to be honest. Nicaragua's a small country. There's just like less than 7 million people here. So it's one U.S. state. Most of the U.S. states are bigger. Like Virginia, for example, has more people. New York has by far more people than all of Nicaragua. And also the population density here isn't too high because there aren't really very many tall buildings. So the highest population density in Nicaragua is equal to that of Washington, D.C. in the States. It's around 10,000 people per square mile, which isn't too crazy. New York is like 60, 70,000 people per square mile, just for some context. And a lot of these very hard hit places by COVID, there's an absolute correlation of just how many people are there. Because essentially, like most of these infections happen because a bunch of people were still traveling, and these are hotspots. Like the U.S. has tons of international travelers, so any place that had like an international airport got a lot more cases, right? Nicaragua doesn't have an international airport. There's ports that go to usually the planes would go to Costa Rica or Cuba or somewhere in the U.S. and then they would go overseas. So we were kind of spared, so to speak, in that way. It's also a really small airport. There just wasn't as much travel in general. Tourism was also down a whole lot here because of the circumstances 2 years ago. So it's interesting. We're going to see. what happens. If it is more of a problem here, it's probably not going to be right now. It's going to be once the winter starts. So effectively, winter in the tropics is local people still call it winter, but it's not snow or anything like that. It's just a lot of rain. And in general, areas like Nicaragua don't have the same problems with influenza and virus. We have like way more problems with mosquito-borne illnesses. So it's definitely not like, oh, there's not disease problems here. There absolutely are. But influenza in particular isn't a very common one. Respiratory disease isn't as common. However, it absolutely still happens. And there is a time of year where it is most likely to happen, and that is in the winter when it's raining a lot and the temperatures are cooler. So that could essentially mean that as all of these countries are now, what you guys are going through is something that we're going to experience here in a month or two. Nobody really knows.
Interesting. Yeah, I saw that too. It's the states that get the most travel are getting the most cases. So very much so.
And we're all getting $1,200. And maybe that'll happen again. You realize that the U.S. government just paid for 6 months of my rent?
Wow, man. Golly.
They're like, work on this Spanish website, Jack. Just do it. Go on. Don't worry about these things. You're fine. Just do the thing.
You already got your payment? How are you?
No, we don't. People still aren't sure how long it's going to take, but all the legislation is all in effect and signed. It can't be like disagreed at this point. We are getting $1,200.
Okay.
And that's just the first stimulus bill. There's going to be more of them. Who knows what's going to happen? Also, as a self-employed person, hey, you don't have to pay your self-employment tax for the year of 2020. So basically, like, okay, when you work for a company, they're paying part of your Social Security and your Medicaid and that kind of thing. They're paying like half your taxes, basically, and you still pay the other half. But when you're a self-employed person, you essentially pay double taxes. You pay the self-employment tax because there's not a company. You are the same. The company and you are the same. So what they're doing now to support small businesses is getting rid of that part. So self-employed people, our tax liability just got cut 50%, which is pretty awesome.
That is very awesome.
And
also, my first year I'll be reporting that.
Also, Google AdSense is giving away like how much is it? It's a huge amount of money. Google AdSense stimulus. I'm not sure where it is. But Google's going to give people credits in their accounts to advertise with, to kind of help with all of this.
Wow. Dang, even for new users or what?
I don't know. I don't know exactly how it works, but it's a lot of money. They're giving away like $20 million in credits or something. Let me find the article actually, because one of my clients he like is a contractor for Google, or works for a company that is employed by Google. So kind of works for Google, but isn't directly employed by them, if that makes sense. Yeah. So let me find that link real quick.
Dang, I thought the $1,200 was for the unemployment.
No, that's a separate thing. You don't even have to file for unemployment. The $1,200 is literally if you pay taxes and you don't earn more than $96,000 a year or $99,000 a year or something like that. And if you're married, then both of you get that $1,200, and it's like an additional $400 per child or something like that. So $1,200 is just the base. And okay, there is a minimum threshold, but it's really low. Like you basically, I don't know exactly what it is, but it's something like if you earned less than $3,000, then you don't get $1,200. You get some reduced rate. But if you pay like more than $1,000 in taxes every year, you're fine. You're getting the full amount. It's supposed to be made so 96% of Americans are eligible for this.
Wow.
Yeah, like, it's insane. And for reference, the U.S. normally spends around less than 700 billion on its military per year. Okay, and that is more than all other military spending of other countries combined.
Cool.
Okay,
Mhm.
700 billion. This stimulus package is like 2.2 trillion.
Trillion.
Like, well, that's triple the biggest expenditure of the U.S. Right? I can't even fathom what the consequences for that are, but I'm glad that I'm getting like half a year's worth of expenses paid for.
Right.
It also means I can just overstay my visa now, because it's very easy to argue, I don't want to go back to the States, and like I can't travel. Airports are like ranked as the most dangerous place in the world right now. Was specifically told by my government to either come home now or prepare to stay where I am indefinitely. So like there's a lot of nice things for me, but it's hard for a lot of people. So I don't want to come off as grateful. I'm still looking for that document. Where is it?
So that's kind of interesting because there's about, what, 300 million Americans
Yep,
in America?
30 million.
So say about 250 million to 200 million gets $1,000 to 1,500. That might go over that 2 trillion stimulus. They're definitely gonna.
No, that's just part of it. A lot of it goes to other businesses. Like basically the airline industries will fail now
Yeah.
unless they're like bailed out, and even then not like we're going through like a it's like Thanos basically. Thanos for business. Like some, you know what I'm referencing there?
Yeah, the Marvel movie.
Yeah. So in this movie,
It's
for
just
you guys
vanishing.
listening, this like evil guy or whatever, I guess he's not necessarily evil. He like gets this power and then makes 50% of all people, all living things, just instantly disappear. And his argument is that like we grew too quickly and we need to like be better. And if you just get rid of half of everything, then that'll happen, right? And that is literally what's happening with businesses in the U.S. now. Like any business that was already struggling, which is most businesses, is gone. Like a lot of businesses just got killed by this,
Very
and
true.
that's even if it doesn't keep going. Like it's already at that point, right? Huge. Like Macy's furloughed 200,000 employees.
Yeah.
Insane.
Man, these big companies, man, they really fight to make sure their employees don't get unionized. But right now, at this moment, the ones that are in the union are the ones that are safe and still getting 80% of their pay and stuff. So, F you, big companies.
Yeah.
Amazon not trying to be unionized. They're definitely big against union. Crazy.
Google is offering $340 million in free ads for small businesses as part of the coronavirus help package.
Mm,
I'm trying to see. A lot of these say a $200 million investment fund that will help NGOs and financial institutions provide small businesses with capital. Interesting. 250 million in advertising grants to the World Health Organization. 20 million in Google Cloud credits. Wait, so that in total is 500 million, and it is a 800 million package. That means there's, oh no, 340 million. Okay, this article doesn't make sense. Maybe that's in addition? I'm trying to find how. Yeah, it doesn't say how to take advantage of that. Interesting. So we need to get along with tasks. What do you want to be working on, Bray? Is there something in particular? And don't
yeah.
worry, I know everything's crazy right now, so Like, on one hand, this is perfect because life is constantly throwing you curveballs, and you have to learn to be able to do the things that make you happy and improve regardless to what's happening around you, because life's always going to occasionally throw you some trauma, right? So that's good. But also, I totally feel that it really is hard to. We're starting to get used to how things are and how the world's just different now, but like, it's totally easy to go through your day and just be freaked out constantly because you're talking to people and everyone's freaking out. And
That's very much true, especially in the household I'm at and stuff. And all they do is watch the news all day. But going to the accountability part, um, I want to redo a lot of my videos on my course,
okay,
and I was thinking about doing sending an easy go one video a day.
okay.
So that would be
So
essentially 6 videos by.
I want to do these tasks a little bit differently. So in the Discord, instead of me writing them somewhere, each of us is going to go to the weekly individual goals thing, and then you need right now to write that there. Okay.
Ah, okay.
So I already did mine, so I can start just to give you a formatting thing. It's the date. So start by April 12th. By April 12th meeting, Jack will have 3 YouTube AdSense videos running, and the Trabajo Fabio website will be able to accept emails. Awesome.
Alright. Type in mine.
Oh yeah, Easter's a thing soon. I forgot about Easter.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's gonna be a short week for some people
Yeah.
this week.
I'm gonna try to do well. I'm gonna do two. I'm gonna shoot for 2 listings a day, eBay listings. I only missed one day this week. I did one a day, except one of the days I just messed up. I forgot. So yeah, I'm gonna do 2 this week, 2 a day, and it's pretty cool. Things are actually selling, like not like insane, but for me, pretty good. You know, because there's some consistency, and I like my new business model, where I'm getting stuff for free because I don't worry as much about getting top dollar for my
Yeah.
items, and they sell faster. Imagine that.
That's awesome.
Yes, it works. I mean, I never really wanted to be the Walmart, but you know, got to make money, so whatever works. Worked for the Walton family.
Right, right. There you go.
I'm just reposting in the other one.
That's actually a good book to check out. Rita's Made in America by Sam Walton.
I've heard that.
Yes.
There's 2 items.
You know, it's Amazon has tons of stuff on there that's 99 cents or lower probably.
It was 99 cents.
Wow.
I love Macklemore so much.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
Macklemore? You've never listened to Macklemore?
I heard the name. I don't know.
Oh, he does amazing songs about like fairness and equality and the shitty reality of society, and without being pessimistic. Oh man, when I listen to Macklemore music, I cry.
I heard one song. Yeah, someone put me onto it, California, and I heard one song. It's really good. It talks about your choices when you're going through school and you're about to get out, and how society can bend your reality into thinking like self-destructive ways, pretty much. And it's pretty much saying, hey, love yourself, be free, and follow what you really want to achieve in your life.
Sounds like Macklemore. There's a song called Thrift Shop, and it's all about thrift shopping and how dumb it is that people buy stuff for $50, $60 when you can get it at a thrift shop for $2. But it's really great. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard
Yep.
That's a pretty funny song. Have you heard that one, Bray?
Yeah, I remember that.
So cool.
That should be the theme of every eBayer or every eBay reseller.
Fair use, right? We can use just the beginning of the song as fair use, right?
Yeah.
How many seconds can you use?
I don't know. I need to learn that, but I know it is a thing. So do you guys have a specific preference for course? I was gonna take one about email lists because I need to integrate MailChimp into WordPress, but maybe there's something you guys want to learn more about.
I don't have a burning desire to learn anything else right now. So if you want to do the email course, I'll listen to it. Some of it, at least.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Okay, let me go find it real quick. MailChimp. It's funny how often I look at a course on Skillshare and I'm like, oh, I actually took that already. Where is this course? Build your WordPress mailing list with MailChimp. Perfect. Oh, and it's only 33 minutes. Hell yeah. Alright, nice. I love short courses.
That's a ticket.
Let me put this in Discord. Weekly courses. Okay. Wow, I'm gonna take a course and actually have to follow it step by step. That's weird. Normally I just take a course and it's all theoretical. Cool. Okay, email marketing. Four, what day is it today? 4, 3, 4, 5. 4, 5 through 4, 12. Thank you. Nice. Okay. That's ready. Now I have to bookmark this so I remember it. Awesome. Nice. Okay, now we can just chill, chat, talk about whatever. We did all of our homeworky things, structure-y things.
Yeah, we're disciplined.
Man, we're getting pretty structured here. What's going on? That's what's up, though.
I love it. I couldn't wait for this call. I always feel that way, but it'd be more right now because, I also had this dog walk too. It's like, okay, I'm going to take a shower and get my act together here. I got shit to do.
Yeah.
Well, it's good. I'm glad.
It's important to set this kind of thing up when you're having a more self-employed life. Definitely. If I look back at things that caused me to become more diligent and work more effectively, a lot of it had to do with being on calls with people. And for me, specifically giving other people the ability to book my time. There was a point where I was doing 1 or 2 calls like that per day, and I didn't like it. It was irritating, but I learned a lot, and it really kind of put me out of my shell a bit, so that now I'm more able to talk to people, and I don't get as nervous about people booking calls. Interestingly, more people have been reaching out for consulting recently, but someone reached out for a consultant, and they definitely were just looking for a virtual assistant. Right? And they kept responding, and I was like, look, just go to this link and book a free call and talk to me. Don't keep emailing me, right? And then they sent me like a list of activities that they'd want to hire me to do, and asked for like a quote on how much after I had said that my rate is this much per hour. Here's how you schedule time with me. And it was stuff like call eBay to get account limit increase, call eBay customers. And I was just like, why are you saying you want a consultant? Like, you don't want a consultant. You just want a VA that has eBay experience. That was funny. I get a lot of weird emails. And you have to, like, say no to a lot of things. Because there's a lot of that vibe that's like, yo, I can make all this stuff. We're going to make you rich. And you just have to learn that there's this flavor of fake opportunity that isn't real. And even if it is, it's incredibly stressful, and just kind of shy away from it. But maybe you lose actual opportunity. I don't know. Not sure.
Well, you have to stay the course sometime. You've got projects you're working on, and you don't want to get diverted. Unless it's a really good opportunity. You've already got a really good opportunity you're working on.
Yeah. Think slow and continuously working on similar things is good.
That's how you get good.
Yeah, and nothing starts out complex. Daily, regular additions to it make things more interesting.
Yep. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I'm really liking my photo booth, because I am a night person by nature. And now I can I can wait till 8 o'clock at night and then start doing my photos for eBay.
Very
So
nice.
I like that a lot. I'm like Jack in the morning. I don't really. The only reason I do day trading in the morning is that's the best time, and it's only.
Yeah, you have to.
You have to. But eBay, I do not want to look at eBay. And day trading's still new, so I still have the new excitement. So that may go away a little bit after, a little while, especially if I don't, get some decent wins once in a while. It's been enough that I can see the potential and everything. But yeah, I'm loving that photo thing. It's it's no big deal to make it, really. I made it a big deal in my mind, but once I did it probably only took an hour. It's really very simple, and but what a difference it can make,
Bienvenidos a la vida. Welcome to life.
Oh yeah, I wanted to tell you, Jack, your website. When I do a search for it, and I can see it in the search, it does say something along the lines of this website is parked. It says, but when you go on there, it's there.
Yeah, that's because it wasn't activated until today. And what I learned with this website crap is basically every time you change something on the website, it takes between 30 minutes and a day for the change to update. And there were 5 different changes I had to make before it became live. And I thought every time that there was only one more change, and I would be like, okay, make the change, nothing. Wait, nothing. Fuck, make another change. Wait. So now I'm really glad that it's like, I can literally just go onto it on my phone and I see how it formats it, and that's awesome. Because essentially what I wanted to be able to do is just have the editor open on my computer and have the website up on my phone, because most of the people using this are going to be on the phone. So I need to see the way they're seeing it, and basically it needs to be a website that has video and text, and it's all centered. There's not really much navigation. You just kind of scroll down, and then you sign up or don't sign up. And then I'll have to figure out how to... There will be sections, basically. There'll be a YouTube section, a drop shipping section, a monthly membership section, an advertising section, and then you'll have to click on that tab. That'll be what the navigation is at the top. But for now, it's just a homepage. And I have to also add the functionality of locking the rest of the website once it gets bigger. But for now, it doesn't really matter. I'm just glad it has text. It feels like I look at it and I'm like, nice. I see a clear definition of what I need to do next and what I need to do to move forward. So that's awesome.
Cool. Very, very nice. Hell yeah. Man, I miss B on the chat, man. I was telling Rita that the other day.
Yeah,
when
he was having some troubles before all this COVID stuff, like some stress and just hard situations, hard realities. So I'm gonna reach out to him actually. Now that you reminded me.
Yeah, me too. Just to say hey, you all right?
Yeah. There were a bunch of people actually. Like there was Simon, there was Oh man, what was the Asian kid's name? I don't remember his name right now. There were a couple
Who's,
people who joined like 3 or 4 times in the very beginning, or in the middle
who's
before you guys joined.
who's that guy with that like frizzy type hair? He was
Assad,
okay. That's
yeah, from Morocco.
yeah.
Yeah, Assad's awesome. He's such a
Yeah,
character.
yeah, Mr. Vapor.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh man, that's the funny.
Anything you guys want to talk about, or anyone listening? If you guys have any questions for any of us, now's the time to answer them, or ask them.
Ask him.
Yeah.
Well, I was seeing what you guys really like about joining Chris chat. You know, is it pretty much you like it because it has the same type of vibe as here, or you just like hearing Chris's ideas and stuff? Or...
That's a good. I think Rita and I can show different perspectives. Because for me, I don't have the same kind of role as other people who join. Because he originally just kind of invited me to show like once a week. I didn't like find out about him and watch his content and then join that way. Because we're both YouTubers and we're close, so we like interacting with each other and doing something. And I provide like a bit of a different experience because I'm not an eBay reseller, but everyone else in the call is. But it's definitely the. I would say I want to believe that my group's more relaxed. Just because Chris, as an individual, tends to have very, very professional, extreme, focused goals that work for him, but he's abnormally diligent and able to be very effective and get a lot done. And he's very talented in that way. In a way that, like, what works for him, I don't think necessarily works for most other people, because if they were in that same mentality, they wouldn't really need accountability for things as much, right? A lot of the people who need accountability are trying to become more than they currently are. So I think there's a little bit of a disconnect in that way. It can be pretty intense sometimes if you feel that way. And like if you contradict yourself or something, Chris is going to point that out, especially over time. He definitely gets a little bit frustrated with the members who are constantly saying the same things but then not improving them. Definitely he gets frustrated with them. Like,
I feel that. I feel that.
yeah.
I'm constantly afraid he's going to kick me out. So I actually haven't even been sharing the last few times. I've been getting off early anyway to do the day trading. I'm just, at this point, I'm just using it as a wake-up call. Just to, okay, people are doing shit. We're going to do shit today. We're going to do stuff. I'm going to get out of bed and I'm going to do this. You know what I mean? Like, that's all it is to me at this point, because there's no way right now I can keep up with the pace. It's mainly him and one other guy now that are regulars and are, are killing it with, doing a lot of listings in a day. So, Bray, it's mostly for eBay people. I mean, most of the people on there are either eBay or Amazon. And,
I will say that, yeah, they're almost all. Most of the times that I'm there, I'm the only person who's not an eBay reseller.
Yeah.
Everyone has some kind of eBay presence. That being said, though, I often get benefit from the meetings that I join, even though I don't do eBay resale. Some of them are very resale focused, but some meetings, the concepts that are talked about, like basically if Chris is reading any kind of book or if watching any kind of YouTuber, he's gonna boil down what he's learning from them and teach it to you. And that can be really useful. Like he'll literally just quote what he's inspired by and that kind of thing, and that energy is really great. And there's a lot of time where I haven't felt that great or whatever, and then I join a call and I'm not even actively that involved in it, but it kind of wakes me up. It gives me something to listen to while I'm like becoming coherent, and stops my brain from thinking ineffectively about things. And then by the end of it, I'm more likely to be like, oh, I'm just going to do this thing that I wanted to do instead of thinking about it and putting it off. I definitely think there's a lot of value in joining. And especially now, it's way cheaper. It used to be $100 a month. Now it's like 12.
Oh, okay.
How much is it, Rita?
Yeah, it's 12.
Yeah.
It's 12. Yeah, that's totally worth it to me. Yeah, and so, yeah, like what Jack was saying, I mean, you got to be kind of, like, if you're an eBay seller and you're not at that level where Chris is, you got to be strong enough to, and that's where Jack helps me a lot, is It's okay. It's okay. It's okay if you don't lift 100 things in a day. It's fine. Just be. Just work up to it. And so yeah, it's a good balance for me. So I got Chris on one hand, just super motivated and super, very. He's just a high achiever, I guess. And you got Jack, who's also a high achiever, but in a more relaxed manner. So, which Jack's personality is more like mine in that way. But yeah, I mean, I'm in this for the long haul. I'm not planning to ever have a job again. So it's like, however long it takes, I just need something that I can do into retirement. One or two things. It'll probably, at this point, it looks like eBay and day trading. But who knows what the future holds? But I mean, I don't need to be an overnight sensation.
Yeah.
Very
So
good.
it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. All right, that's cool. Well, I was definitely because I was like about 2 months ago. I was watching the playbacks from the live stream every once in a while. And I was like, okay, it's a little different. I definitely could tell he tries to pound his live chats out kind of fast or at a scheduled time. Start now and end now. So
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
the
Wait,
format
I
has
want to
changed
tell
a
you.
lot. It used to be
I
2
want to tell you
hours.
real. Oh,
wow.
wow. Hey, I want to tell you really quick, Ray. He's doing all those calls free this month. I forgot. I had already paid for it, which is fine. But he's doing all the those 6 a.m. California time calls for free through the month of April, and they're on Sunday too, which I haven't been going on Sunday because it's just whatever. I haven't been doing it. But Monday through Friday, free. So it'd be a good chance for you to check it out, see if you like it.
Okay. Is Sunday? Do you know the Sunday ones at the same time?
I'm not sure. I can't remember right now, but I'll try
I
to.
want to say there was a different time on Tuesday and Thursday, but I don't remember. It changes a lot, so just because I think that at some point doesn't mean it is like that now.
Huh. Okay.
I'll try to get something to send you, Bray, so you can see whatever what the current thing is.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah, it's a good call. I feel like yeah. I mean, I know that I can't just get on there and I know I have to prepare. If I'm going to be on that call, I have to. It's not so much now because there's a lot of people on there, and I probably won't get called on. But like at the beginning, before there were a lot of people, I knew I better have something that I was working on, and not just how many listings I was planning to do either. He didn't. I did that once, and he's like, I want to hear what you're doing, more or less to like improve my business, kind of
Yeah.
thing, So yeah, so I better come up with something if I'm going to be on the call tomorrow.
Yeah, I definitely feel like that on those calls, but that's because he'll always give me a chance to present something, and if I can show a screen and talk for like a minute or two, gold.
Yeah, no, you always add a lot. I'm sure that's where I learned about you, Jack. Is from one of those calls.
Yep, I remember. That's what you specifically said that you found me from Chris.
Yeah, and it's one of those calls. It's like, who's this dude? Who's this crazy dude?
Right.
You're unique, Jack, and I like it. You got a good vibe.
We all have our
Probably help a lot of
moments.
people.
I think with that, I'm going to end the call. No one's asked any questions in the chat. And for any of you guys listening, if you want to join the group, you are welcome to. We meet every Sunday at 2:30 p.m. California time. And we do a couple things. First, I'm going to summarize a course that I've taken over the week and try and just give you a piece of the course. And then that kind of give time for other group members to join. Once people have joined, then we go over what our week was. So each week we pick a task that we want to accomplish. That could be something you're doing every day. It can be like doing these 3 things. You really have a lot of flexibility. Basically, what I want to hear is you confidently able to say, I'm going to do this. Because if you're like, well, it'd be good to, you're not going to do it. So you need to get to a position where you're like, I know what I need to do, and this is the thing I want to do. If you don't do it, that's okay. But you got to be able to talk about that, be aware of it, and then see. Me, for example, I wasn't able to do this week's or my previous week's goals. That doesn't mean like I'm a failure, but it means that there's a bit of unrealism or a lot of, or maybe something that, like in this case with the websites, my goal was that I would have 2 ad campaigns running that link to the website. And there was just way more to that than I thought there would be. When I set that goal, I thought I would click F10, record 1 video, maybe do that 3 times, then do it again for the second video, upload it to YouTube, and then go to WordPress, copy paste some random stuff, put in a button, and be done. That's all I thought I would have to do, but the reality is I had to do like 4 or 5 times the amount of work that I hadn't thought about, right? So that's kind of a good example of a, on one hand, a bad goal if I'm always failing, but basically I had to have that experience to now know what it means to have a video that I feel good about and to have the website able to aggregate emails. And if I hadn't had said that goal, maybe I don't know, like if I'd picked something easier and not failed it, maybe I wouldn't be in the position where I know very clearly now what I need to do. Sometimes like you need to be a little bit unrealistic with yourself, but also at the same time, that shouldn't be happening every time. You should be making these goals sometimes. You don't really want to be setting really outlandish, extreme goals that you can't meet, because basically you want to be realistic and you want to be able to predict and plan your progress. So that all starts with being able to actually understand what you do. And if you can't reliably see what you do, it's going to be very hard for you to take control and improve in the way that you want to improve. So sometimes you just kind of have to admit the way that you are. Maybe you want to be a person that does 10 of this every day, but you struggle to do it once a day, and you should just focus on doing it once a day and not beating yourself up. Honestly, that's usually what the answer is. We tend to beat ourselves up way too much, and that's kind of one of my goals with this group, is to show people that, like, honestly, we're all full of crap sometimes. We're all shitty. We have bad days. We have good days. There are times where we're really lazy. Even the most productive person in your life, the person you look up to most, I guarantee you there's plenty of times where they wake up and they don't want to get out of bed. They just want to stay in bed. And sometimes they do that. You just don't see that side of them. And it's really easy to think that, oh, I'm a lazy person. I'm not doing the things I want to do. Other people are different. But the reality is we all struggle with the same kind of things. It's just most of us aren't honest about it. So it really helps to be part of a group of people that you can be honest with, and try and just like get to know yourself better. A lot of times we need accountability through other people in order to see ourselves for the way we really are. If we're just working with ourselves, it's almost impossible to know the way you are without some other people to interact with and learn from. It really, really helps. So if you're interested in joining, just look in the link of this video or of almost any video on my YouTube channel and look for a Discord link. Once you join that Discord channel, every week before this call goes live, I will post a link so you can join it. There's no requirement to join aside from knowing that it's a live stream, so you're gonna be live streamed. Your voice will be heard. I prefer if you use video just because it's better for you. You're going to get more confident if you learn to be able to be on video on a regular basis. It doesn't matter what you look like. None of that stuff really matters. Everyone feels insecure. And the only way to get through it is to just keep putting yourself out there to the point where you're so used to it, you don't even worry about it anymore. That's kind of like, and here this call is a platform for any of you guys listening to be able to join that and get that experience and get more comfortable showing your face on YouTube. For me personally, showing my face on YouTube changed my life more than anything I've done. So I highly, highly encourage people to do it. All right, guys, any closing comments?
No, I'm good, man. Thank you very much, Jack.
Yeah, thanks, Jack. That was great. Yeah, we're just growing.
Yeah, let's get it.
All right, everybody. See you next week.
Bye-bye. Thank
Ciao.
you. Bye.